Hey there, welcome to DIY Projects with Pete. Today we're going to build some floating shelves. Let's get started.
The first step is to frame out the shelf support. We'll start by ripping a 2x4 down to 2.5 inches wide on the table saw, and if you'd like a thinner shelf, you can rip the board even narrower or use a standard 2x2. Next, use a miter saw or a circular saw to cut the length for each board. Cut the ledger board to the approximate width of the shelf, and then the shorter boards, which will be the depth of the shelf. I cut the shorter boards to 8.5 inches, which will make the final overall shelf dimensions roughly 33 inches wide by 11 inches deep. Then lay out the 5 boards that are part of the shelf support. We'll attach each shorter board to the ledger using 2 3-inch long screws and some wood glue. Use clamps to help hold the boards in place if needed, then pre-drill and put the screws in through the back of the ledger into the shorter board. Use a square to ensure everything is lined up correctly, and once the 2 outer boards are attached, evenly space the 2 inside boards, or space them as needed to make it easiest to mount to your wall. Attach the inside boards using the same method, or if you prefer to use pocket holes, simply drill each pocket hole using a jig, and then attach with glue and 2.5-inch screws. Then do a quick sanding to remove rough edges and to smooth things out. Next, we'll build the box that will slide onto the shelf support. I used cedar fence pickets to keep costs down, and because I like the gray weather finish you can get with the steel wool and vinegar stain, but feel free to use any type of wood you'd like. Because I used pickets, I needed to use 2 boards on the top and bottom to be able to have a deeper shelf. The measurements I used can be found in the free plans at DIYpete.com/floating shelves. Cut the length of each board down to size. Next, put the boards in place to simulate how the shelf will look. I like to use the frame support to hold everything in place during assembly, and then butter up the ends of the boards with wood glue and attach the sides using a nailer. Move on to the other side and repeat the process. Use clamps if needed to hold boards together during assembly. Then pull out the shelf support and attach the front piece of the shelf box with wood glue and nails. Sand the entire shelf box using a sander and 220 grit sandpaper. This is going to give the boards a smooth finish, and it's also going to remove excess dried glue. Next, go ahead and add a finish for the shelf. I patinaed the wood to give it a gray weathered look using a steel wool and a vinegar solution. And if you'd like to do the same, you can check out the video tutorial on how to make it by clicking on the link in the description below. Feel free to stain or paint the shelf to best fit your space, and simply brush on the solution, let it react with the tannins in the wood, and dry for at least an hour. Then seal the wood. I used a water-based spray sealer that dries clear and keeps the wood the gray color. And here's a look at how the wood darkens to a brown color when sealed using an oil-based stain. Allow the sealer to dry and then get ready to mount your new shelves to the wall. Use a stud finder to determine where you'll attach the shelf support. The studs are typically 16 inches on center. Use drywall anchors if needed for your particular situation. Then pre-drill through the wood and attach to the wall using 3-inch long wood screws. I used 2 for each stud, and the shelf support was rock solid. Then grab the shelf and simply push it into place. It should have a nice, snug fit. I installed 1 additional shelf below, and here's an up-close shot of how the box slides over the shelf support. You can see it's pretty slick how it slides into place, and you can use a few screws to secure the box to the shelf support from the top if needed. And that's all there is to it. Load up the shelves and enjoy. The free plans can be downloaded at DIYpete.com/floating shelves. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. And cheers from Montana. And for free DIY inspiration and updates on the latest projects, make sure to head over to the website to join the email list. It only takes a minute. Cheers, guys!